What's up? Welcome to the Unstuck Podcast. I'm your host, Drew Koss, and you are in the right spot. This is where we discuss real life, real problems with real people. You're going to get unstuck. Now, while you're at it, make sure you subscribe and share this with a loved one. Let's get ready to get unstuck. So we're on two places right now. We're on the podcast, and then we're live on Instagram too. So those who are on Instagram, if you see me looking down, I'm shooting a podcast episode, and this one is going to be about how do I get my content to actually get me clients. As always, you guys might see an appearance from my co-host, my 4-year-old, your niece, Aaliyah. So don't be alarmed by that. Let's get into this topic of how do I get my content to get me customers. One thing that we want to think about when we uh, hear a topic like this is I'm usually talking to a business owner of some sort, usually a coach. So I'm not talking about someone who's making content just for their own good. Nothing is wrong with that, but that's not who I'm usually talking to. So if that sounds like it's not you, totally okay. Now, let's talk about the first part being using my content to get me customers. I first want to know who's the audience that I want to be talking to. So, if we would say it in like coaching terms, target audience, but in just plain terms, who are the people who you want to actually come to your business or do business with you? Now, this is called your target audience. If you don't know who your target audience is, it's going to be really, really hard to create content that actually works because you're going to be making content for the world. What do I mean by that? Let's say your target audience is 17-year-olds. You're going to talk completely different to a 17-year-old than you would someone who's 47 or 57. The language is going to be different. The topics are probably going to be different, and how you present it might be a little different. So you want to think about your target audience first. What most people do or they get wrong usually when it comes to content is they think that they're creating content for their family members or for their haters or people who may judge them. That's not who you're creating the content for. I love my friends, but I'm not creating content for my friends. If they enjoy it, that's a bonus, but I'm really creating content for the people who I feel need my solution and who would do business with me. And that's usually coaches, life coaches, so to say. If you're on the Instagram wave, what's up? We're podcasting right now. We're letting you guys come along for the journey. So I want to think about my target audience. Now, Drew, how do I get to a point where I even know what my target audience is or who my target audience is? Great question. I like to say, think about your dream client. Who's the client who you really want to work with? Uh, do they have a job? What's their mannerisms? Where do they hang out at? How are they treating you as a business? Think about your dream client. And once you can think about who your dream client is, then it's going to be a little bit easier to reverse engineer how do you get to talk to this dream client. I I can help people who've never created content before if they are set in their mind that they want to do that. My calling is not trying to convince people to do something that they should do. That's not my calling. That's somebody else's, but it ain't mine. So I don't spend a lot of time trying to convince somebody of doing something. I'm talking to the person that has made up in their mind. I want to do that. Drew, you just have the strategy, or I would like you to be my guide along the journey, right? So if you're on the Instagram, if you're with me, go ahead and just give a comment or leave an emoji. Let me wave at you guys on here. We're podcasting and you guys are coming along for the journey. So I want to think, who's my dream client? And I want to start thinking, where do these people hang out at? What do these people do for hobbies? What do they do for fun? Do they have kids and things like that? So now when I start making my content, I want to be speaking the language that I would be speaking with them. I am a parent, so when I talk about parenting, I usually get a lot of people who are parents commenting back or hitting me up in my DMs. And usually that is sometimes the barrier that breaks, or that sometimes it breaks that barrier of, hey, I don't know him yet, to he's talking about things that I'm going through too. So let me hear what else he has to say. So number one, you want to think about your target audience. Number two, if I want to use my content to get me customers or make conversions, I have to figure out what consistency is going to look like for me. And when I talk about consistency, I'm not just talking about how many times you post a week or a day. I'm more so talking about the type of messaging that's going out. What's the type of messaging that goes out from you? Is it educational? Is it entertainment? For me, my three content pillars is the first one. I call it RAM, results and advanced marketing, where I'm going to give you something that you can use that was going to get you a result within a day. So I'm going to put out content that helps you get a result in a day, right? I can teach people how to podcast in a day. I can teach people how to be consistent with their content by getting them unstuck in a day. I can teach you how to turn long form videos into short videos in a day. I'm giving you advice that's going to help you. That's results in advanced marketing. My second content pillar is storytelling. If you guys follow me, I'm always talking about my co-host who's probably running down the stairs now. I'm storytelling. I'm telling you stories that I've been through, that my family has been through, that I've seen with customers, because I want to invite you into this story so that you feel that I know what you're going through, which is I am being truthful in the stories. The third thing that I do is call people up, right? I don't call people out by telling them, you should have been did this, girl. You should have been did that. No, I'm calling you up. Hey, it's time for you to go ahead and do this. I'm ready when you are. I'm calling you up. So those are my pillars, right? You can think of the pillars that you want to think about. Now, with my messaging, I'm talking somewhat all the time about one of those three. If you trace back in my content, it's one of those three. And depending on where the person is in their journey, they're going to resonate with one of those three. And that's how I see consistency. Should I post one time or two times or three times a day or a week? That's all up to you. I like to say it's a free platform. Why wouldn't you go all in and post as much as you want? That's just me. I know coaches who are very successful who don't post more than three times a week or more than once a week. It's all up to you. I just use this as I'm creating the content. I'm going to put it out so that every time you see my face on social media, I'm giving you some game. So the first one was we want to figure out our target audience. The second thing is we want to figure out what is our consistency going to look like? What am I going to be talking about? And then I want to just say this. Am I talking about something that people actually want to have solved? Right? If you're picking a subject that people are not wanting to have solved, it's going to be a hard road. I joke about this a lot, but maybe in 15 years, I want to be a relationships coach. Why? Because relationships are going to be a thing forever. People are always going to need help with relationships with a spouse or themselves, but not right now, maybe 15 years from now. So we got first one being target audience, the second one being the consistency. What does that look like? And then the third one, this is going to sound so crazy, mentioning what you offer. You have to eventually mention what you're offering. Do you offer a service? Do you offer a product? There goes co-host. Co-host is coming down. Yes, baby.
Do you know how to fix my seat to the couch?
Yep. In a couple minutes, I'll come fix it. Okay. I'm a real dad before I'm a coach. So that last one is I want to be making my offer. My offer is not me trying to sell something to people who don't need it, right? I don't sell things to people who don't need it. I sell things I actually don't come out and try to sell. I present an offer, and if you want it or not, it's based on you.
You have to come by yourself and fix the seat, and you come with me.
Okay.
Okay?
A couple minutes, okay?
Okay, you walk it to your lap, and next one you come get to my house. Next one you can get my house.
Okay. You guys see co-host. This is why I show people the real life, right? This is real life. I want to be showing people the offer that I have, but I want to be inviting people into the offer to see if it works for them. Like, what's the transformation that's going to happen if you get with my offer or your offer? People who work with me with content, I let them know already. Number one, you're going to become way less stressed because we're going to find out what works for you and how that works for your business. Number two, you become transformed because now you can actually do content, or you can outsource it to us and we can do it for you, which people do that and they become way less stressed. But number three, you are now in a place where your business can actually have a marketing portion that works for you. There's many things that you can do with your offers, but the main thing you want to do is let the person know what are they going to become when they work with you. Are they going to become less stressed? Are they going to save time? Are they going to get more money, better relationships? Whatever is the end goal, you want to let them know this is going to happen when you're working with me. Number one thing I see people who have a business never do is they usually don't pitch any of their offers. They usually just post and they run away, or they post and then they don't follow up, or they don't post at all. Guys, if you have a business and you're not posting about what you do, how people can get it, then what are you in business for? Like, one of the goals in business is to help people, and then it's to be able to make an income for you and your family. I want you to think about this. I gave someone this challenge. I said, I want you to pitch your offer for 30 days in a row. They were like, what? That's too much. People are gonna be overcrowded. And I was like, they're Fashion Nova and Sheen, they send like multiple emails a day, like 5 emails a day. And people just decide to either unsubscribe or they stay subscribed. You're probably not promoting your business enough as much as you think you are. And that's usually because some form of fair is telling you all of these lies that people aren't going to want to hear it, that you're not actually well enough. But I tell people, if you're a coach and you have a business, if you haven't pitched your offer in the last 7 days, I can probably tell you you're lacking clients, unless you have like an amazing referral program, or you have an amazing affiliate program, or you are just crushing it with word of mouth. If you don't present what you offer, people can't buy it. Most coaches, I'm not going to lie, don't have an offer. They don't have an offer. If you don't have an offer, you can't convert your content, or you can't have your content convert to customers because there's nothing that they can buy. Does that make sense? So let's recap before I get out of here. We are talking about having your content help you make conversions, which is just plainly saying get customers. Number one, the first thing that we talked about is you have to figure out who is the audience that you are talking to. And does that audience want you? I'm going to say this and I'm going to get in trouble for it, but okay. The people who I really want to help usually don't want to be helped. So that's not my target audience anymore. The people who I really want to help don't want to be helped. So I don't actually market to them anymore. If you are close to me, like you know me, you know my last name, you got my number of some sort, you know I have ideas for days for you. Usually those people don't act on those ideas. So I just stay friends with them. I don't try to get business with them. I don't try to go that route. I just try to stay friends with them. But the people who I really, really want to help, they don't want to be helped. They're not ready for that. And I'm okay saying I'm not going to keep pitching to them. So your target audience is number one. Number two, your consistency. If you're scared to show up, how can you expect a harvest? Like, you won't even do the bare minimum, which is showing up. I was writing some content and I came across this idea that I wanted to build around, which is your calling requires you to show up. You don't show up enough. So, how can you expect somebody to even know who you are or what you have? And the last one is your offer. You have to have an offer. If you don't have an offer, how are people going to know to buy from you? You don't have an offer. And with all of that being said, right? Today is Wednesday when we're shooting this. I have something called the gift of giving. The gift of giving is you spend an hour with me, right? It's not free, but stay with me. You spend an hour with me and we figure out how can you make your content actually get you customers. And in that hour, we see where you're stuck. Are you stuck at finding out your target audience? Are you stuck at the consistency part? Or are you stuck at the offers part? Now, with the gift of giving, right? If you see this, I'll put it in the notes. But if you are listening to this on Instagram, DM me the gift of giving because you get to pick the price you want to pay for the hour. I show you what the normal hour is, and you get to pick the price of what you can pay for that hour. It's the gift of giving. So I'm not going to harp at you. Whatever you can pay, it's up to you. I'm going to show up full wattage and give you the game. I want to see coaches succeed. I want to see people succeed. And I know for a fact, content marketing is a big part of it. If you don't have marketing and sales, you will not have a business for long. It's not possible. It would not work. So with that being said, I'm out of here. I got to go take care of the little lioness. And this podcast episode is recorded. Look at that. 2 birds in 1 stone. The podcast, shooting the live. I'm about to go make sure Aaliyah didn't tear up the house as I was down here in the mini studio. I'm out of here, guys. Be great. I cannot say thank you enough for listening to this episode. Do me a favor, subscribe and share it with a friend.
Okay.
Help us help more people as we share a message of getting unstuck with real life problems with real people solving them. Be great.